Welcome to English Sucker. In this video, we'll discuss about the various poetic devices applied in the poem along with some textual questions. The paraphrasing, that is, the line by line explanation of the poem, has already been uploaded in my previous video. You can check it in this topics playlist. The link is given in the description. If you like the videos, then do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get updated with the latest notifications. This session is based on CBSE Class 12th English Co. Poem number 2, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. And here today we'll discuss on the figures of speech, the poetic devices, and some of the important questions. This is the first stanza, and all the highlighted expressions they are the example of one or other type of figures of speech used here. Let us discuss. Far, far. Here, the poet uses the figure of speech repetition. When repetition is used, emphasis is given on a certain thought or feeling or a thing. Here, by using this expression, the poet emphasizes on the fact that the life of the children dwelling in these slum areas is totally different from that of the children belonging to the well-off sections of the society. Gusty waves. Gusty waves is an example of metaphor. Here, the children of cities or the children belonging to affluent families, well-off families, have been compared with gusty waves. Like rootless weeds, simile. The complete expression is the hair, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Here, the untidy pallor, gesture, unkempt gesture, unorganized existence of these poor children of slum has been compared with rootless weeds. Weight down head, imagery. When the poet uses imagery, the poet presents a visual in front of our eyes so that we can imagine the scene. There was a tall girl with a weighed down head. So this is imagery. The paper seeming boy, metaphor. A boy with a stunted growth has been compared with paper. A boy emaciated with poor health has been compared with the thin sheet of paper. Rat's eyes, metaphor. Here, the greedy, poor, hungry eyes of these poor children has been compared with rat's eyes. Reciting. Here is the use of pun. Pun is such a kind of figure of speech in which the poet has two meanings, one literal and another figurative. So here reciting in the stanza, the stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. Here reciting word refers to first, literally it refers to reciting the lesson, and figuratively it means reciting the gnarled disease of twisted bones that he has inherited from his father, and in this way repeating or passing from one generation to another generation. Gnarled disease, metaphor. Gnarled disease stands for disease of twisted bones. Squirrel's game, symbolism. Here, squirrel's game stands for any activity that is pleasant and that is more interesting. This is second stanza, and these are all the highlighted parts containing one usage of one or other type of figure of speech. Future is painted with a fog. This is metaphor. And here, the dark life, the dark future of the children dwelling in the slum has been compared with fog. Fog stands for darkness, ambiguity. So, one another figure of speech is lead sky, pun. In the last stanza, we have seen the use of pun. So, here lead sky. At one hand, lead sky stands for polluted sky, and on the other hand, it also stands for a restricted area that cannot be penetrated. So the life of these children so far is restricted to their world of slum. They so far they have not joined the mainstream of the society unless and until something is done. Far far, again here far far expression is used, and this is the example of repetition. In the last line of stanza 2, the poet uses this expression to emphasize on the fact that yes, the life of these children is totally different from the life, the pleasant and beautiful, prosperous life represented through different donations kept hung on the wall. So, stars of words metaphor. Here, by stars of words refer to the great figures of literature like Shakespeare. Sealed in with the lead sky metaphor. Here again, the slum life, the slum world, that is no less than a heap of garbage, has been compared here, sealed in with the lead sky. This expression refers to the restricted and polluted world in which these children live, that is their slum area. Stanza 3rd, these are the areas having figurative expressions. Ships and sun. Another use of symbolism. Ships make movement. So we can say ships represent progress, and sun, power, energy, enlightenment, strength, leadership. Crammed holes, another example of metaphor. Crammed holes here refers to the crammed, narrow, congested, hole-like place in which these children live like rats. Metaphor. Another example of metaphor, from fog to endless night. The life of these children has been compared. The slum life of these children, the poverty-stricken life of these children has been compared with fog, from fog, darkness. It is from fog to endless night, darkness, the total darkness, the bleak world is referred. The bleak world of these poor children is referred here. Slag heap, metaphor. Slag heap refers to the poor, emaciated physique of these children due to poverty and negligence, and due to their exposure to different exploitation. Slag heap, perhaps the poet also means by slag heap the heap of garbage where these children live. Spectacles of, here let us have a look at the stanza. Spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottle bits on stone. The poet is here comparing the condition, the financial condition, the poverty-stricken condition of these children. Quite pathetically this is being done. The children are wearing repaired glasses with a steel frame, broken glasses, and this has been compared with pieces of bottle on stones. And if we imagine pieces of bottle on stones, this brings out a hard reality, a hard expression. So these children also are having hard expression in their eyes, that is compared with bottle bits on stone. Foggy slum. Foggy slum. Foggy slum also refers to the dark slum life. So this is metaphor. Last stanza, windows. Windows here symbolize, let us look at the lines. Windows, these windows that shut upon their lives like catacomb. In this expression, there is use of simile. The narrow, congested, dark life of world of or slum has been compared with death chambers, catacombs. Break, oh break. Break, oh break. Emphasis. Repetition. Green fields, symbolism. Green fields symbolize prosperous world, prosperous life, prosperity. Run azure, gold sands and run azure. Both of these expressions are example of symbolism. Gold sand, golden opportunity. Run azure, free environment, unrestricted freedom under the blue sky. White and green leaves symbolize white textbook, institutional education. Green leaves, learning from the rich bounty of nature. Sun again symbolizes power, strength, enlightenment. So that was the use of poetic devices. Let us have a look at some of the important questions. And before we discuss these questions, I would like to tell you that it is very important to have proper interpretation of the questions so that you can write a convincing answer. The very first question is, what do you think is the color of sour cream? This refers to the color of the wall. So what does the poet mean by this, and why do you think the poet has used this expression to describe the classroom walls? What is the purpose of the poet to mention, to point out this particular thing? Why does the poet points out the color of the wall? By doing this, what does he want to tell us? Second is, the walls of the classroom are decorated with the pictures of Shakespeare, buildings with domes, world maps and beautiful valleys. These are all the things of donations that are put up on the wall. How do these contrast with the world of these children? The world, the life that is represented or depicted through all these things of donations that are hung on the wall, do the children of these slum areas lead the same kind of life? Absolutely not. So what is the contrast that we are supposed to mention here? What does the poet want for the children of the slums? Now, after drawing our attention towards the plight of these children, to the pathetic condition of these children, what does the poet want us to do? How can their lives be made to change? By doing what? By taking which step, which measures should be taken so that we can bring change, or we can bring upliftment in the standard of their life. Now the next question is, comment on the world of these children of slum. Now what actually the poet describes in the poem about the conditions in which these children live, that we have to comment upon. Analytical question. Definitely you can write a convincing and impressive answer on the basis of your analytic understanding of the poem. Now the final question here is, the poem is based on the theme of social injustice and class inequality. This we must explain. We need to justify it with the help of the content. How does the poet do justice with this? Now, before I come to the end of this video, I like to discuss what are the different types of questions that are asked from poetry section. The very first type is extract based objective type questions. So you need to be very careful. You can not totally neglect repeated reading of the poem, as you should have understanding for each and every word, each and every expression used in the poem. The next type is short answer questions, generally to be answered in 30 to 40 words. And one another type, long answer questions, to be answered in 120 to 150 words. Long answer questions, you need to have critical thinking, analytical ability, higher order thinking. So this will be possible when you completely understand and do repeated reading and proper revision. With this, we come to the end. Thank you so much for watching.